All right, what are three things that motivate humans? So, whether you're trying to motivate yourself to do something or at work you've got employees that you're trying to motivate to work, what are things that actually drive humans and make them want to actually work harder and do what you want to do? And I was thinking about it because I recently read this interesting book, Drive by Daniel Pink, and it was really interesting because he's basically saying that what actually motivates humans is largely misunderstood. A lot of people think that extrinsic rewards such as like high salaries, like money or benefits or whatever, is what motivates people to work hard in jobs. But he's saying intrinsic motivation is always more powerful. So if someone actually wants to do hard work, they're always going to be more motivated to do that than someone who doesn't want to actually do the work, but you're trying to push them by either like offering them like a benefit or threatening with a punishment if they don't do it. But how do you actually set up the conditions so that people do have that intrinsic motivation? Because I'm sure a lot of people have had like a job where it might have even been the same role where you've had like one manager or one boss, and when working for them, you actually felt really motivated to do hard work, but you might have been doing exactly the same role, but you might have had a new boss. And then like that was a really bad boss and you suddenly killed all motivation. So what's the difference there? Like what are the things that motivate and drive humans? Because most people think that reward or punishment is a good thing to do. So saying we've got these targets, if you hit them, you get this reward, whether it's like a bonus or a day off or something. Or if you don't hit them, there's a punishment, so you lose your job or whatever the case may be. But he's saying in the book that that only is effective for routine and sort of mundane tasks. So, for example, like a factory worker who's just on a production line, they don't have to actually like think or anything, but they're like putting parts in boxes or something. If you basically set them a clear goal, like say you have to pack 10 boxes an hour, and if you don't do that, then you don't have a job, then that can be motivating in that case. So for routine and mundane tasks, that does work. But for most people who work in like a knowledge role, so where it's like an office job and they have to actually like think about what they're doing, whatever the case may be, like that doesn't work. So what are the three things he says that do actually motivate people? And the first is autonomy. So autonomy is basically just a sense of control over your own life. So if you have a boss that tells you you have to be sitting at your desk at 8:30, you have to be at your desk until 10 o'clock and then you can get up for 5 minutes and go to the bathroom, and then at 12 o'clock that's your lunch hour and you can't leave until 5 o'clock. That's not autonomous. So the person doesn't have a sense of control over their own life. But alternatively, like if a boss says, these are the deliverables you have to do by the end of the week, manage your own time like however you see fit. Like if you're a late riser and you want to come in the office later and stay later or whatever the case may be, do that. Just make sure you have these things done by the end of the week. So that's actually motivating because it gives someone a sense of control. Like they're not chained to a desk. They can sort of do what they see the best way to do the task. So the deliverables are clear, but they can actually choose how they do it. The second thing is mastery. So that's basically like having a sense of progress. So if someone's in the same role, at first it can be like challenging and they're like learning the ropes, but eventually you get to the point where they're like good at what they do and they don't feel challenged anymore. And then that becomes demotivating because they sort of lost that sense of mastery. They feel the mastery over that task, but they're not progressing anymore. So if you're managing people, like employees, you have to always be like letting them grow. So slowly just sort of like building up that sense of progress. So they're doing harder and harder things as they're getting better and better. But you have to be careful because it's either if you go too hard and you give them too much and it's overwhelming, that's demotivating. But if you don't give them enough challenge and enough sense of progress, then that's demotivating as well. So it's always like a balancing act. And the third thing is a sense of purpose. So what's the why behind what the employee is doing in this case. So if you tell someone we need to work like 12-hour days for the next week and work hard and so that our bosses can get a bigger bonus and take a long vacation, like that's not motivating. That's not a good why. Whereas if you say we need to work 12-hour days for the next week so that we can have all these like packages for the homeless people that ready to ship out so that they can be fed on Christmas Eve. Like that's a why, that's a purpose. And people are a lot more motivated to do things if there's a sense of purpose and like greater than themselves or greater than their boss. It's like helping people in the community or whatever the case may be. So yeah, those are 3 things that he says in the book that motivate humans. So that autonomy, the sense of control of their life, mastery, the sense of progress, and then purpose, like what's the why behind why they're doing things. So yeah, this interesting book. Hope you find that useful or interesting. Please subscribe to this channel if you like the videos. I'll keep doing more and I'll talk to you soon.